WQF is first up on the menu. Do you have thoughts about these roster? Any players stand out to you, Mikowski?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of M305 for Darkest Hour. We've seen him compete in some of those open brackets. He also made a good run in the Honda Fan Cup 1v1. We got to see his individual skill on display here. And now, with the likes of Darkest Hour, a team, again, that has been climbing the ranks, he looks to put it together with the squad, with the 4v4, and make a name for himself there as well. I think he can do it.
Even more exciting, this is actually Darkest Hour as the number 4 seed, Lies as the number 5 seed. So not only is that shaking up to be a competitive matchup, but these are the two teams that are on the bubble as far as qualifying for next weekend. This is it.
Yeah, a chance to qualify from the winner's side. Oh, man, and as we used to G1, we used to be in all of these open bracket qualification tournaments. It is such an advantage to just kind of wipe your hands clean, go into the Discord, hang out for the rest of the day, probably fire up the LBT Halo stream, and, just watch the action, right? So both of these two teams fighting for a well-deserved break here. But they're going to need to break some noses and take down this Lies roster if you're Darkest Hours. They do just that. 4 down, flag out. This looks like it should be a really strong run here. Jackson has it at the halfway mark, and at this point, it's going to be a white flag raised for Lies. They're not going to be able to contest this. Instead, they're going to play for that mid-map control.
They have to play for the mid-map control, but even that is being contested. The first capture comes through for Darkest Hour. Off of that opening break, just a minute 30 and change of time passed before they can break the 0 on the scoreboard. This next series is going to be the qualifying matches, winners semifinals. Because remember, it's 2 teams from upper bracket and 2 teams from lower bracket. So you have to make it into the winners finals to be qualified. So even though this is a competitive matchup, very potential 2 teams that we see qualify, one of them is going to get dropped to the lower bracket, have to take their second chance at qualifying. So yeah, a lot of the line for both of these teams, I think, is the best way to summarize it, as this game, just like the seeding, is neck and neck.
Wow. And imagine in a 4 versus 5 series, winning that is not enough to qualify. It's hard out here for a Halo kid. As we see M305 push up. Doesn't have much to work with outside of that camo and the tried and true battle rifle as he puts that to good work. Takes down Evan, I believe, for Lies. And has a sneaky pullout now, but he gets spotted. Needs to stay alive here. Can stay alive and, again, just be a distraction, a thorn in the side. As M305 does a great job of that. Doesn't even take any damage. Has the back of the sniper. Kid Nasty, we've seen him before. He's played really well in some of these open bracket series. So, yeah, something's got to get Savonic, another player, Facti, all of these players here deserve to qualify. So it's going to be very interesting to see who does, in fact.
And I think it's still possible that both teams qualify. Obviously, one would have to do it from the lower bracket, but I think that this matchup is really like that true test. Even if this isn't technically a qualifying match, it has that same weight, that same feel because of the seeding as close as it is, because of the rosters. 3 go down for Lies, and Facti, as the last alive, tries to stay alive with that sniper in hand. But the push is in, the hunt comes through. Darkest Hour sweeping through. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, it just happened. And 305 has the flag grab. He stopped short, but he did make it that first leg of the way with that movement of the flag.
Yeah, it was a huge piv win there for M305, but an even better job there by Lies and the teamwork to take him down, trade him out, make sure that that flag went no further. As Sylvonic now pushes up further into that mid-map. 2 down in the feed for Darkest Hour. Lies with the numbers advantage, and they're pushing up with it.
Sylvanic might try to steal the other team's sniper here. It's just 2 seconds away as he rotates over to the elbow. He's already predicting where those spawns are going to come through. He didn't get his hand on the sniper just yet. He has the plasma grenades. He's going to try to get the stick. He caused a lot of damage, nearly killing the respawner. But Jackson stays alive, milks his life, and grabs that sniper, almost causing complete chaos. Was Sylvanic in the back of the base.
Yeah, and if they would have had a little bit more numbers pushed up, that could have been a really deadly situation, as it looked like, 2 of those players, 2 of the 3 players there on the snipe side went down to no shields instead. Jackson has that sniper, has Facti down to no shields. Tricky, though, is going to clean that up. And I love how Jackson didn't even contest it, didn't even push it. He knew Tricky had the push, he had the positioning, and now they have 2 snipers, I believe, as a result of the smart heads-up play.
Might be monopolizing the snipers on this map, but as one is in the hands of Jackson, he has half of the ammo left to work with. We're still deadlocked, and Jackson puts it to work. Incredible headshot. No time to go after a body shot with a VR cleanup. Just, chop the helmet off of their suit of armor. But it's Sylvanic with the answer back, the double kill to take down that sniper. And here's the sniper on the other side. Seven is also deleted, and that sniper dropped to the ground. The fight has been for those power weapons, but the fight now is on that flag. The first touch from M305.
And now I recall, Kid Nasty was in the overdrive free-for-all qualifier. We saw him make it, I believe, all the way to that final round. Did not qualify in the top 4 against the likes of Stellar you had in there, right? Goober, who got second at the Halo World Championship. So for the likes of Kid Nasty, it goes to show that he's got what it takes. Not having the greatest performance here in this game, but that doesn't mean he's not a great player.
Full respect to the players, whether it's 4v4, whether it's a free-for-all, whether they're big team battle players like Onboard, like whatever the case may be, it's the love for the game that comes through, and that gun skill does translate from mode to mode. On board right now with Jackson, 10 and 11 now, unfortunately taken down the second I said his name. I'll claim that one, Jackson. My apologies. 7 rotating to the top of glass, and it looks like it might be the sneak away with Tricky, a tricky sneak away of the active camo, dodging the grenades, but he's found out. He has only the camo to try to keep him alive, and 7 tries to predict where he's gonna rotate for cover, mispredicts, Tricky stays alive, but it has slowed down his approach with this camo, about half of the camo time being burnt.
Tricky. Great job there with the survivability with camo. Butterfly effect takes down 7. No, but 7 takes him down as well. And oh my God, if Tricky takes down 7 there without trading, that could be a flag out for Darkest Hour instead. Yeah. Pressure back on Darkest Hour. Sylvanic of Team Lies has a sniper in that mid-map control, but it's still being contested. Facti and M305 so contested, in fact, that they're trading out top mid.
Past the halfway point of this game, Sylvanic has the sniper. We've seen some incredible snipe plays, but also counter plays to those power weapons. And as soon as Sylvanic lets his position be known, do you see the collapse from Darkest Hour, sending multiple players to make sure to shut him down. M305 now with a sniper in hand. 2 go down for both sides. It's a little mini 2v2 in the middle of this match. And the fight isn't going to be for a flag. It's going to be for that map position. As M305 tries to lock down the middle of the map, he doesn't quite find the head of Sylvanic across the way.
M305 trying to feel out the positioning of Lies as he goes down. Shiesty. Well, I believe the top KD performer in King of the Hill. I know we're not in King of the Hill, but really impressive nonetheless to note that you have one of the top performing players here on this Darkest Hour roster. I don't think that their sample size is as big as some of the other pro teams, but important to note that the likes of Grand Shiesty has found themselves on the top of those snow stats leaderboards. That's important to note because when you look at this Darkest Hour roster, there's a lot of players on both these teams that you may not have heard of before, and trying to come up with a reason why, like how can this Darkest Hour roster come out of nowhere and find themselves in the top in pool play last week and looking for another spot here this week as well.
And they weren't able to take down any wins in pool play last week, but they did qualify for that pool play, and they gave Cloud9 some trouble as well. So definitely a team to watch out for as they take the lead in this game 2-1. Grand Shiesty now with the active camo, finding the back of Kid Nasty, but the recognition, Kid Nasty hit that body shot, no scope, and the quick melee. Down goes camo. Lies, this is what they can build their next push off of.
Down 2-1. That's exactly what Lies needed. A shot caller in the form of Kid Nasty finds 2, make it 3, 4. A full team-wide triple kill for Kid Nasty. You gotta push up there. The green light is full blasted, full map control to push up with, as no one was alive for considerable time there for Lies. For Darkest Hour, how does Lies play with those slays? Kid Nasty, though, hasn't really gotten that much forward off the bat. It just goes to show how difficult it is to score on Argyle. Despite a full team wipe, it took an extra almost 10 to 20 seconds to finally see a flag out for Darkest Hour.
And it was the monopolizing of the snipers. One was in Kid Nasty's hand, used the rest of that ammo. Sylvanic has the other sniper, and that leaves teammate Facti to be the objective carrier, crossing across the 3/4 mark, rounding the corner. If they get this top glass, it's very hard to stop, and it's suddenly with the cover fire. Every player on the side of Lies working in their role to secure that capture. You had 2 snipers, you had 1 flag runner, and you had 7 just laying down the double kill.
And Lies, they score with all 4 down for Darkest Hour. That's why there's already this pressure on the Darkest Hour team. And Spawn as 7 looks to push up, and usually on Argyle Magic, it's a full team wipe of resources used to score a flag. There we saw 4 go down for Darkest Hour despite Lies scoring, and despite all of that, it looks like Lies will not be able to take advantage of that team wipe as we now have a reset, a battle for mid-map control, but Facty with the edge and that camo.
He grabbed the camo, activated it, and then he went over to grab the repulsor, just always wanting to add one more item. But do you see Darkest Hour? They almost have like a perimeter, like a line of defense, and it was perfectly played between Yaxon and the other teammate. I missed the name on the other side. They had the perimeter locked down, and it's Kid Nasty's double kill. It's going to break it through that line of defense. Two go down for both sides, but it's Kid Nasty this time picking up the flag. This isn't going to be as clean of a run as the last one. In fact, there's almost a mirrored fight on both sides. Both flags being taken. Both flags counter-rotated.
This could be it. Just over 60 seconds to go. A score here would be devastating for either squad, but flags are out on both sides. 7 looking to stay alive with that MK sidekick. 3 go down for Lies. 2 down for Darkest Hour. 7 last player alive, but Shiesty has that flag out past the mid-map. Kid Nasty now needs to keep that flag alive as he grabs it, pulls it past the sniper, but he's not going to get past the sniper. That should lead to a potential clean return, but Tricky has another flag. This is dueling flags in both base. Less than 1 minute to go. This one's going to be intense.
It was almost a mirror image, right? Both flag runs in the same path. Both flag runs at the 90-yard line. Both flag runs stopped short, waiting for the return. Incredible plays. And it came off of that 2 down on either side, that the 2 left alive just out-rotated, right? They overextended at the same exact time. I've almost never seen something to look so identical on both sides of the map.
Mirror images as 3 are up for each squad. The return though out. And I believe that's going to lead to the score, but no, this is still going to be contested. 7 has the defense, and he has the chain reaction. Big brain play takes down Yak, but M305 has the flag out. A flag is still out though for Darkest Hour, so they're going to have to focus on this return. Because of the return, he has to take an angle that leaves him highly exposed, and Sylvatic is going to drop it further, and he has the camo to work with as well. Sudden death.
And the Sylvatic is playing for overtime right now, not carrying that flag with camo, but going for the return instead. Another teammate picks up the flag. We're on sudden death. This dueling flags could lead us to overtime, or could lead us to one team getting the cap, getting the victory. You thought the flag reset was going to lead to the win, but the counter pull came in. Both flags are out in the opposite bases yet again. The flag reset wasn't enough as the counter pull was so quick.
Wow.
We're almost back to where we started.
How does Kid Nasty get that flag on the other side of the map after that reset? It felt like for at least a split second. This one might have went in Darkest Hour's favor, but no, they still got plenty of meat left on that chicken wing. Gotta find an answer here. This sudden death, this might be a sudden death that continues on for 5 minutes. So we don't have the 5-minute clock in overtime Magic, but the sudden death feels like it might last that long.
Been absolutely the incredible balance between these two teams. As soon as one gets a leg up, the other one responds in kind, but a little bit of a different positioning on where they're holding the flag. This is the back of the base. Kid Nasty with the grapple to flank around, nearly falls off the map, but does he get back in time? The return's coming through. He makes it back to the flag. He resets that sudden death timer.
Kid Nasty looking more like Peter Parker, the kid superhero, but he eventually gets stopped short by the likes of Doc Ock. Facty looking to now play some defense here. Shiesty flies in aggressively. Didn't have much of a game plan. Loses his head because of it. Numbers advantage here for Lies, but with Snipes coming up in 10, you have to elect that both of these two teams are going to play for that power weapon.
Neither team wanting to let go of this game. The sudden death timers continues on. This might be one of the longest regulation capture the flag games because neither one is wanting to give up the fight. Lies have had round after round of defense to stop Darkest Hour's push, but the fight continues to be in their base. Now the fight goes down on both sides of the map. Facty trying to control top mid, but it's Grand Shiesty with the takedown. A little bit of moving that flag, trying to find the perfect spot to be able to hold your line of defense. Sylvatic on one flag though, and now Grand Shiesty going around the corner, getting the kill. But it's Facty filling right back in.
Clutch no scope there. Did not get the headshot, but the no scope is enough to take the damage. And without that no scope damage, this is game over. Instead, Facty and the likes of Lies still have a chance here. Unbelievable sequence. As that
Have
sudden
you ever
death,
seen this? This sudden death?
I was just about to mention the sudden death clock. It's almost memeing us because you'll see the pie chart kind of dwindle down to half.
Yeah,
You're like, oh no,
yeah.
just kidding, back to full. You're never leaving. You're stuck in this perpetual lobby for life. I hope you like Halo. As Facty finds the no scopes, finds the shots, but isn't able to take down Yak. 3 go down for Lies. Darkest Hour with another great chance here to win this highly contested game 1.
There's no sudden in this sudden death right now. It's anything but sudden.
It's elongated death.
The extended death on the board right now as both flags are out. Look at Sylvatic still rotating the flag on the other side. M305 of Darkest Hour is just kind of holding ground. Sylvatic wants to find a position to hold the flag and also fight. You can see that fight instinct, and holding the flag right there at glass, you can kind of scout and hold objective at the same time. We'll see if it pays off. 2 go down for Lies, but 2 are down for Darkest Hour. Grand Shiesty gets right back, resets that flag yet again. As a tale as old as time, the longest sudden death maybe in the history of Halo Infinite.
And Sylvatic was the last player alive, but Darkest Hour weren't able to find him and take him down. So it's a little bit of that repositioning working in their favor there. And you talked about the main goals being playing for a little DPS, a little bit of intel, but there it keeps the game alive.
And now Camo and Snipers are back in play. Both Snipers have been picked up. Watch that pie chart. It's just toying with us right now. The tease comes through yet again. I don't know where Camo ended up. I don't know if it's been picked up because it's quite risky to make that jump to top mid with 2 snipers out in play. Look at Sylvatic. Again, anchoring the flag and trying to get the kills. Sylvatic, if he can pull off this play, doing everything. Look at Kid Nasty's the one with Camo on the opposite side of the map. Kid Nasty has a sniper, has Camo, but it's the team fire from Darkest Hour keeping us in this extended sunset.
Oh, and if only Kid Nasty had a little bit of help there. You have to imagine 2 would have went down for Darkest Hour, had the 2 body shot no scopes, but at this point, Magic, you got to throw all logic out the window as we are witnessing something unprecedented here. This has, at this rate, I believe, gone past the 5 minutes we would have seen in overtime. Instead, we're getting something much more intriguing, which is a sudden death that never seems to end.
This is the game that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. Some people started playing it, and I don't remember the rest of the song. Knowing just because I'm gonna get stuck in somebody's head. It was enough of the lyrics to get stuck in someone's head. Kid Nasty finds the opening pick. Here come 3 players. Look at Lies. They're leaving 1 player on defense. 3 players are on the offensive. Sylvatic once again as that anchor is the lone goalie in this scenario. As the rest of the team look at the grapple to pick up the sniper, not wanting to leave positioning. And Sylvatic is staying alive as that line of defense. Darkest Hour have the numbers though. 2 go down for Lies. If Sylvatic is taken down, and he is, they lose that defensive player. Who's here on the respawn? The sudden death timer is reset. M305 is staying alive. This they get the reset, they get the dunk. The longest sudden death is finally over. Lies send 3 players on offense, and the Darkest Hour defense holds off long enough to get the reset, to get the return, to get the capture, and that's only game 1.
Wow. We've never seen something like that before. Unbelievable game 1 OT sudden death that lasted seemingly 6-7 minutes, and ultimately it was that end game strategy decision from Lies to keep Sylvatic solo with the flag. And I don't know, I just think that puts a little too much pressure on one player to really clutch up. And if Darkest Hour send 2 in a 2v1 against the flag, which is I think what happened, it's just it's GG's for Sylvatic. He needs an overshield. He needs a teammate there. He needs 2 and 2 split. Instead, Lies split 3-1 and go down 1-0 because of it.
Absolutely, a game that will be remembered for a long time. I would love to get I'm sure we'll get the numbers on that. The time of that sudden death. How long did that sudden death actually extend for? Incredible. And it makes me wonder, the endurance factor going to come into play in this. This is a best of 5, and this is teams that are neck and neck, number 4 versus number 5. So not really a surprise that it came down to the wire. It was just how long both teams lived standing on that tight wire. That was the surprise. Game number 2 is going to be that Slayer Aquarius, and I have to think it's going to be a 50-49 after what we saw from game 1.
Wow, I don't know what to expect after that game 1. Everything looked so mixy, so tight as we descend onto Aquarius for game 2. Team Slayer little bit more straightforward here, Magic, as we should have 12 minutes at most of game time. But you know, at this rate, I guess you can't guarantee anything.
They're going to do a melee trade for the tie.
Yeah.
On the last 49-49 melee trade for the tie. That's the only thing I think that can stack up to what we just witnessed in that game number 1. And it's the fight for Camo. Camo is dropped onto the ground as M305 is taken down. He didn't get it activated. Now it looks like Facty's trying to rotate over. I think Camo maybe still on the ground, maybe picked up. Who knows? Sylvanic's going to take the kill, the takedown, the frag credited with that kill. We're tied. And look at Camo is still there. Does Sylvanic see it? He doubles back, but he has the thruster. He instead picks up the commando. I don't know if he was trying to make the swap over to Camo and the commando jumped in his hand instead.
That was, I couldn't, he had to have known it was there, right? But I don't know. He moved back.
Anybody know?
Seven knows. 7 has it. There we go. 7 kills, 4 Darkest Hour, but it's the 11 for Lies that has them up 4 with momentum too in the likes of this Camo.
Finds the back of M305, cleans up the kill, 5-point lead for Lies. They don't seem any worse for wear after that incredible sudden death. Barely looked away. You saw the remote detonation possibility. 7 looked away at just the wrong second. Not finding another takedown. Has damage onto M305, but the pressure comes in. Does finish off that kill before being eliminated. A good use of that Camo. That was very much the hot potato at the bottom middle of the map.
Yeah, that's one of the worst feelings in the world. You have the centering, you have the pre-aim lined up, and you pull it the split millisecond the player shows face. But despite that, Lies able to maintain this lead. Now only 2 kills though. M305 looking to potentially tie it here. Has a teammate support here at P1, so they're going to push through like a wave above P2. Facty with plenty of grenades around. This should be a kill from the grave, yes. So Darkest Hour goes down, but able to trade out. And with a 2-kill game, I think that's going to be okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay to trade out in that scenario. Like, because of how long that first Camo was up for grabs, the next round of Camo was already in play. Neither team, once again, this time the Camo's not sitting on the ground. It's just sitting at top mid. Team's using it as bait. It looks like Facty's going to be the one to jump onto that Camo, activates it immediately. Lies once again getting advantage of the power-ups and starting to extend their lead as they're close to that halfway point, and now they have the 7-point advantage.
Yeah, no one's really popping off, and that's usually the case when you have a 7-kill lead.
Yeah.
Instead, it's been the utilization of that power-up Camo. Still in the suit of Facty, still using it to his team's advantage, but he ultimately goes down. I'm looking for Darkest Hour on this next Camo to really prioritize and play for it, because I believe this 7-kill lead, the Camo, a big reason for it in the possession of Lies for the majority of this game. I believe 2 for 2 so far.
2 for 2 on the Camo plays. Let's see what Darkest Hour can do with the next Camo in play, and I believe 45 seconds if my math is correct. Kid Nasty now at the back of the fridge finds 1 kill. It's still a 6-point advantage, but 2 go down for Lies. On board now with 7, appropriately with 7 kills, and also appropriately 7 deaths. I mean, it just makes sense. Just 3 more assists from the 777, maybe. He's taken down, so that's not going to be an option. It's M305 at top mid, and Darkest Hour with some map control with a couple of kills. M305, now they're only 2 points down. Darkest Hour, they're not letting this game slip away from them.
And Darkest Hour is riding this comeback on the wings of teamwork. They have, I believe, 2 to 3 more assists. So despite being down 2 to 3 throughout most of this match, and most recently, it's Darkest Hour that has better teamwork in the form of those assists, but can they turn those into the right time and place kills where a Camo can be grabbed? Yes. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Answering the question perfectly is that timely switch from 99. Camo now in the suit of Darkest Hour. We talked about this being a tool that they needed to utilize for the comeback. Now down only 1.
1-point game. It might have been the timely switch from 99, or was it the timely question from Mikowski? We may never know. The teamwork is showing itself in this game. 33 all. Now a brief lead by Lies, but it's Grand Shiesty with the remaining seconds of that Camo trying to even it back out, but no utilization of that Camo.
Wow.
Lies, take him down, hold on to this lead, and we're about to reach the home stretch of this Game 2 Slayer.
And they say game 3 is the swing game, which it is, but this really feels more like the swing game in the sense that you're tied, deadlocked in a series that looks highly contested, highly evenly matched, or you have Darkest Hour somehow sneak away with a 2-0 advantage split in this series. So despite it being game 2 and not game 3, Magic, this one has all the feelings of a swing game.
I think every game in this series has that kind of intensity because the games are that close. Like any one win could just be the determining factor of the series because everything else is so close. 7 is taken down. 1-point game. Lies are 3 down. They need to try to stay alive. Kid Nasty is the last alive. He's singled out. He's taken down. Kid Nasty is 15 and 10. Waiting for the rest of the team to kind of rally behind that. Sylvanic was the defensive player. Maybe he had too much time on the objective and now is trying to get back into slaying mode. Tying game, heading into the 40s with Tricky and the Dynamo grenades. He's gonna get information from that Dynamo on where this player is lurking. Looks like a trade of those kills comes through. Lies still holding on to the slimmest of leads.
42-40. Lies with the narrow edge as we approach the end game. Facty, though, anchoring the high ground here, which I really like. This should lead to another slay for him as he takes down Shiesty. But it looked like Sylvanic went down, so Shiesty did a great job to trade out there. But now, Darkest Hour in a situation where they can't play for trades in the end game. Down 3, now 4. They're going to have to find the answer and find some clean sweeps here if they want to come back in this one.
That clean kills means like not trading them out. A kill that doesn't result also in a death, which so often happens, especially with Aquarius being the small arena style map that it is. So often you'll get one takedown, but you'll leave yourself weakened. Like Kid Nasty trying to escape there, he's taken down. Now it's just Lies 1 kill away from tying up this series, and they find the player to focus on. The Accent is the last down. Lies tie up the series with a 50-43 victory. It was back and forth, but at the end of the game, they ran away with it. You can see the level of intensity. They're treating this as if it was that qualifying series.
Yeah, this is wild again that this is not the qualification match. You got to get to the winners semis, I believe, the next round. Winners round 6 to qualify for pool play on Saturday. But this to me, Magic, this got to be our first game 5 of the day, right? This feels to me, it has to be, right? This is just so deadlock, dead even. We saw in game 1 the longest overtime sudden death stretch probably in Halo Infinite history. And then there in game 2, we saw a pretty highly contested game. Despite the 7-kill disparity at the end for Lies, it was really close all throughout. Even going into the 40, it was tied 41, 40, 40, 41, 42, 40, I believe Lies had that lead. So a 2-kill lead that they turned into 7 at the end. So they turned up at the end. Can they carry that momentum in the beginning into the beginning of game 3, though? That's the question.
Somebody clipped that. I think McCaskey sounded a little bit like an auctioneer there for a second. 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 40, 42. I don't know.
15, 20, 25.
I mean, honestly, with how fast this gameplay has been, I feel like you have to kind of tap into that auctioneer side, because if you don't, get onto the gameplay, all of a sudden something else is happening, right? Like, these teams are throwing everything at us right now, and I love it. You get so engrossed in the game, and hopefully all of you watching at home, hopefully you're enjoying the gameplay, the competition. Thanks for watching this HCS 4K, for joining us, hopefully enjoying the show, because this has been some impressive competition. Maybe this isn't the top 12 teams. Maybe maybe you're out there saying, oh, when does Optic play, when does FaZe play? Don't worry, they'll be here next weekend. Right now, these teams deserve our attention. These teams are where the action is happening, and it has been a great time so far. More to come as we head into this game 3, eyeing a potential for a full 5-game series between 2 teams that could not be more closely matched. It's Kid Nasty winning the Rockets, getting the kill, and already prioritizing the objective. Oddball on streets, and Kid Nasty tosses that ball back to his teammates as all 4 go down for Darkest Hour.
Great opening start here for Lies as they look to turn those slays into ball time, rotating it to the back of Turbine. Darkest Hour spawning PD, looking to push through on the B side while they've already gotten through to C. But look at that well-timed smart rotation back out to the cafe side, and that ball simply resets there for Lies. So I like that there from Lies. They had the team wipe early to start it, but realized they didn't have enough, so they reset the oddball. Ultimately go 3-4 down, as this one's really mixy at the start. No team really able to find their form and fitting. Really, you got to ask the question now at this point, can Darkest Hour hold this for a 30-second hold? It doesn't feel like either of these 2 teams are going to get that considerable amount of milk that you usually see at the start of a round.
Well, they're starting to, though. Like, I agree, that's the question. You didn't see a strong defensive hold until now, because Darkest Hour, they had the player in tires winning out that fight. M305 peeks down to Laundry, and now there's going to be another player hopping up out of that washer machine, and M305 is going to be taken down. No time to sit and do your laundry, because the oddball is up for grabs. 30 is exactly where that ball is going to stop, though, because it's Lies coming through with kill after kill, nearly sweeping Darkest Hour and stealing that oddball. Do they hold it here at B, or do they try to rotate back to Subway? It's going to determine this fight between M305 and Sylvanic at the bottom of C, where that oddball hold is gonna end up.
And despite the great start for Lies, it's the answer back from Darkest Hour, which has them at that 30-second checkpoint, 30-12, as 3 go down again for Lies. So a great job there. It looked like they were looking to make a rotation. That ball finds itself at C once again, and Lies, though, doing a great job off spawn. Look at this, putting pressure down, getting slays, getting numbers, and the rockets as well. What do they do with it? Ooh, traded out. That's tough because those rockets could have been the answer to breaking this hold at C. Instead, Darkest Hour looked to hold on without the rockets on the field, but 3 go down for Darkest Hour. Yak, the last player alive. So again, we saw a great answer back from Darkest Hour. Now it's Lies doing more of the same.
Oh, I'm so glad we're on board right here with Facty. Facty was 10-2 and now 10-3. Incredible kills coming from Facty. In fact, more team, no pun intended. In fact, more kills from Facty than the rest of the team combined.
Wow.
Now tied up. Impressive start from Facty and a big part of why Lies are still in the fight of this game. But as Darkest Hour doubling up on that scoreline, 40-20, and 305 is now the objective holder across the map. There's duels and battles being won out. But look at Lies, they're counter-rotating. They're cutting off this oddball rotation. And now the trap is in. Facty on one side, the other teammates at 7 in tires. And now a triple kill from Facty. Get the overkill. No, once again, we keep on getting so close to that overkill, but the assist on the fourth.
I just imagine in my head, 90's head just like descends to the ground, just so disappointed. I thought that was a guaranteed overkill. He leaned over his right chair, he grabbed his Sharpie. He's got, he keeps count of all of his overkills. Started to write down one, but then had to erase it, or at least scratch it off, as that did not go down. Yeah. Half a tally there as the triple there. But really, on a serious note, Facty with the well-timed flank from C to B and then all the way through to A. Nobody on Darkest Hour expecting that push from Facty as he earns himself the 4 down. But again, this is kind of unbelievable. Despite the team wipe for Darkest Hour in the beginning of the game, and then just recently, they have ball control and are now up by a 2-1 margin. Unbelievable.
Sylvanik with the double kill, and now Kid Nasty with the rockets, and once again traded out with the rockets. It just looked like, okay, here we go, Lies, this is your chance. They do get to the oddball, but they lost some numbers in the process. There's the last rocket being sent out. Facty ends up with the kill, a little bit of blast radius damage from the rocket, a little bit of a BR cleanup. We're about to be looking at a tie game. 7 is rotating the objective to the back of B. 13 points down, and there's no time for them to get comfortable. Darkest Hour have the numbers advantage. They're not letting that lead slip out of their fingers.
And you don't usually see teams hold at B, so I'm going to imagine Darkest Hour is going to rotate this one to PD after 3 go down for Lies. That's going to spawn them over at C. Darkest Hour with the smart rotation over here to A. As they're now looking to put the finishing touches on this round in a true swing game where both of these two teams are tied 1-1. Darkest Hour looking to get the early break advantage in game 3, now needing only 15 seconds.
Doing a quick eye check. I think that Lies are actually like winning out for slays. It's getting a lot closer though with the last couple of slays going through for Darkest Hour, but nearly tied, but 10 seconds left. Darkest Hour rotating that oddball. They felt the pressure from the side of PD, and they quickly rotate over to that Bulldog, that Cafe side. A great round of slays though. The fumble comes through at the last second as 7 takes down the oddball carrier in the nick of time.
And I believe it's a 7-kill disparity. Lies with the edge in the kill leaderboard. But again, that's not the leaderboard that you play for. It's the objective efficiency time after time today that we have really focused in on, and has been a key deciding factor where teams that are slaying out sometimes don't have the win. So very important to note, Darkest Hour has the objective efficiency, has the oddball, and all they need is that 1 second as they secure that oddball and round 1.
Yeah, I love the fumble coming through. I love to see that Lies were still in the fight, but the 99-second mark, there was just too much of a point disparity at that point, right? If it had been like 80-99, like maybe, right? Maybe Lies can get a full 20 seconds, but I don't remember the exact point count that they ended at, but it was just too little, too late. Love the last-ditch effort, but that's all it ended up being. Darkest Hour do clutch up in that round number 1. Reset here for round number 2. We're watching these two teams expecting a game number 5 to go down for the side of Lies. Darkest Hour raining down death and destruction. It's Facty staying alive. The assists coming through. Neither team has broken through to that oddball yet, but M305 with these the rockets. They're getting the objective. They're getting the rockets. They're getting a little bit of everything. Teammate goes down. M305 has to decide between playing objective, playing for kills, and he's trying to do both.
Yeah, and if you're looking at the script for Lies and how they come back in this game, in this series, I really think you got to call Facty off of the oddball. 16 seconds is not a lot, but I think it's too much for him considering his slaying performance here. I'm looking for maybe like a Sylvanic, and not necessarily a Kid Nasty because he's more of the cycle around the map, cause chaos, and really put down damage. So I'm looking for the likes of Sylvanic here to really start to pick up on that oddball instead, because you got the likes of Facty really playing that main Slayer role, but he's close to the highest in oddball times. So strategy, team composition, not quite adding up here for Lies, and I think that's why they've had some difficulty here in this game 3.
All about filling those roles and then being able to adjust as needed as the game sends it to you. 5-point lead, if you can call it that, from Lies, but the ball is out at the bottom of C stairs. Neither team really having the opportunity to pick it up, and now it's Darkest Hour
Bait.
with the quick scoop up to the top of stairs, and 7 was using that oddball as bait. 2 go down, make it 3 for Darkest Hour. Last one alive is Brand Shicey in the back of C, but his survival, did you see that spawn? M305 spawns right on his teammates.
And then Lies rotates the ball away from C towards PD with rockets up. Unbelievable play. The decision could be enough to bring Lies back in this game, needing this round to tie it up here. Kid Nasty has his eyes on the rockets, but Yak has eyes on him instead. As rockets lay at the reset, 1 left, still there. As that's going to be a highly contested area. Great use of the shroud screen there by Tricky, but he's not able to, unfortunately, see the rockets because of it. Doesn't pick them up immediately. But it's all for naught as Sylvanic ultimately goes down. Tricky does pick up those rockets, but Magic, for both of these two teams, it's been hard to pick up some time here. 7-7. That's odd.
Yeah, and I was going to say the same, but we might need to keep an eye on the clock in this round because it's been hard fought to get even single seconds across the scoreboard. Just now, Lies hitting double digits as they have the 12 seconds and counting. Watch Darkest Hour, though. They're rotating through PD, and I think they're 4 strong. And look at the spread from Lies. They're overextended. They're 2 spread. Darkest Hour are going to have the advantage in the team fire on this fight. Kid Nasty, recognizing that, can't do anything except clean up and assist. Sylvanic as the last alive, and now it's 7 on the respawn at PD, getting back into the fight. Some of these respawns have made it really difficult for a team to hold down the defense because they're not locking down the spawns on the map.
Yeah, and this one, teeing it up, I like you said, Magic, this one is very likely to go to time. Half of the game clock has eroded, but only 10% of the score has been achieved for each of these two squads. So again, the math, I'm not very good at it, but I'm good enough at math to know that that does not add up. So Lies. And honestly, for Darkest Hour, both of these two teams gonna have to find a way to break away, get that 30 seconds of milk that we usually see from one of these two teams, or not only just one of these two teams, but just in general in oddball, as both teams vying for the lead. Tied 13 all. That's odd. Like,
it's incredible how it has been tied, how it's been back and forth, and how every second has seemed to count. Now it's 7, prioritizing the rockets, keeping the focus on the power weapon. The melee comes through, likely a trade, but no, 7 gets the kill before the time to fire that rocket. That ready time on the rocket was too much. Now 7 has full health, has the assist, has 1 rocket left, and the chamber fires it off, is taken down. 2 go down for Darkest Hour, 2 go down for Lies. Now Jackson is the last alive, and now as he's eliminated, that's it. Lies with the numbers advantage. They might actually get a chunk of time.
Facty gets called off the oddball and hands it to Sylvanic. Oh my god, that was literally the strategy that we discussed, that they needed to find a lead. And what do you know? They're now up by a 2-1 margin. Oh man, oh my god, I love seeing strategy on display here from the likes of Lies. And those are those adjustments that you gotta kind of like, it takes ego, or it takes the lack of ego, I should say, to take that oddball from Sylvanic. So I got to give credit to Sylvanic, but all the while, Darkest Hour find the team wipe or go down for Lies, and now Darkest Hour has the edge with that oddball at back A.
Did you see Kid Nasty surviving in arcade? Jackson may be a little bit frustrated to have to disengage, and Kid Nasty stays alive. It was all 4 down for Lies, and that's why we see Darkest Hour with just a 1-second lead. 1 minute and 2 seconds on the clock. Brand Shicey at the top of C with a stalker rifle, but 2 are down for Lies, 1 down for Darkest Hour. A little bit of the numbers advantage again in the hands of Darkest Hour along with that objective. The push is going to come from driveway. Grand Shiesty has a couple of warning shots out, but not connected on enough damage to be able to contest that fight. The oddball is here at the top of Ivy, but the breakthrough kills are coming through. Can they hold on? Dropping the oddball in order to play for Slays because there's two players in the back of the subway, a 2v2, and the winner is Kid Nasty.
Huge in that sequence, Magic, with less than a minute to go on the game clock. If Darkest Hour wipe Lies, they're looking at the win instead. Lies looking at a potential lead here. 50 seconds total just about for each team and 51 seconds on the game clock. This one's going to come down to the wire. Rockets up. Kid Nasty has the edge on him. Stalker rifle depletes. Rockets go back to full. 2 shots to work with here. This is going to be crucial as Lies looks to complete the comeback here in round 2.
And they took the lead in the game. Kid Nasty has his sights on one. Make it 2 targets going down. Huge plays, milking more time. This is the first significant oddball hold we've seen from Team Lies, and Kid Nasty is the one leading the charge. We have the potential for another 300+ Slays game if this keeps up, but we need Lies to clutch it up in round number 2, force the round 3. Here comes the next push from Darkest Hour, and Sylvanik with some cheeky positioning finds the backs of the players before he is traded back out.
And you might see Lies here play for regulation, play for the clock, as there's only 30 seconds left and about 30 seconds separating these two teams. That's why I think that oddball is going to stay at top C for now. Kid Nasty, though, goes down, and now Darkest Hour has the damage and numbers to regain. Oddball in the hands of M305, now down only 20 seconds. This is the final push. 20 seconds separating these two teams. Only 20 seconds on the clock. End game right now.
And 2 go down for either side. A little isolated 2v2 right now with Sylvanik versus Yaxon. Yaxon has some damage out. Sylvanik rotates the top of Pizza. Yaxon finds him, gets a shot off to keep his shield low. The help is coming in for Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour with the numbers. Yaxon stayed alive. 1 HP in a dream. 1 HP in a dream. 3 seconds on the clock as he is taken down. 2, 1 second, trying desperately to rotate the ball. But do you know what this means? We're going into a round 3.
Hitting game 3, round 3, and it was the adjustment, not only the mid-game adjustment, but that was a mid-round adjustment there from the likes of Lies. That's why we're now tied 1-1 as Shiesty. I love that combination. Go for the boom block, pop it down to the shotgun, grab the shotgun. If there is any contention over there with grenades, you're not going to take any damage. Instead, Grand Shiesty has only lanes and angles to work with as he continues to push through with that shotgun. Bacti grabs the red rifle, but now it's Shiesty who could potentially have that kit in the form of shotgun and stalker.
It was a little bit extended, but it was the 4 down for Lies. Darkest Hour getting the kills, getting to the objective, and we're not seeing what we saw in round number 2, where it was like precious bought seconds in the early stages. Now we see already 19 seconds won over, that ball being played out as the push comes through, not wanting to give up the defensive setup. And 305 is playing on another level in the opening break of this game before Darkest Hour sent multiple players in order to take him down. But you see that Sentinel beam dealing out the damage for the kill. Jackson is the last alive, was the last alive in the end stages of round 2, once again as the lone survivor.
Yeah, those are those last alive plays that really make a big difference. Huge to get that double kill, despite all the attention being on him. And now the attention on that A side of the map is Lies. Finds the reset oddball and resets themselves really here in a moment where they needed it. Right as it looked like Darkest Hour was going to find that 30 seconds of fresh milk, Lies looks to spoil the match here for them as they tie it 19 all and looking to maybe even eclipse that.
It's exactly tied. Would we expect any less from this matchup? Y'all, I hope you're buckled in by now, because this number 4 versus number 5 seed has been anything but predictable. It's Facty at the bottom of B stairs, rotating up to the top, takes a little bit of friendly damage, but also deals out enough damage for the assist. 5 seconds left on Rockets. Facty rotates over. He's 2 seconds too early, but he's trying to cut off that lane. Now doubling back, has the rocket, but it's M305 in his face. M305 tricky. It was tricky surviving on that rocket.
Look at his HP. Wow, you could barely see it. It was a bee's length of HP. No, it was an ant's length of HP there. It was enough to keep him alive. That was unbelievable. How often on streets do we see those rockets just sometimes just like not find the finish despite seemingly finding the player?
Because the way way Tricky did, he just jumped down to the open. So I don't know, was that a direct hit? Was it off the wall? Incredible survival. You thought for sure it was going to be a trade of lives right there. Darkest Hour was one of the most decisive leads that we've seen through this game, through this series. 40 almost seconds of lies now, prioritizing the objective. There's unlikely that this round goes to time with how close both teams are playing to that skull.
Sylvanic and Seven here have a situation where they could kind of wait and bait. That's why, there you go. Seven doing a great job of waiting and baiting with that Sentinel beam. And that's great recognition, Magic, there. Knowing that you have your teammate Facti in the back of C with that oddball, so you know that invisible hand of Halo is pushing that Darkest Hour squad out towards the mid-map. That's why we saw Seven and Sylvanic sort of baiting and waiting at the B rail and the benches. Works in their favor, and now only down by 5 seconds.
The Sentinel beam for Seven's double kill. A nice play here from Lies. They cut that lead that was starting to run away from them. They cut it to 7. And now 2 go down once again on both sides. Sylvanic with another breakthrough kill. Tricky has to kind of double back, play a little bit more defensive. They can't secure the oddball just yet. Waits for those respawners to come through, maybe picking up some plasmas. He doesn't have any grenades to work with. If Nasty rolls through to the bottom of these stairs and is once again trade kill for kill on both sides. Tricky doubling back, cleans up the double kill. But there's no security here.
And Magic, this goes exactly back to the strategy in round 2 that Lies needed to kind of adapt and switch up. No more ball time for Facti. 38 kills, almost 10 more kills than the second place player on his team, and he's got four times the oddball, twice the oddball time. Unbelievable game from Facti, but they need his damage. They need his slays to ultimately come back. Otherwise, you're going to have a 10-point finish here unless you change the strategy. So Facti, no more oddball time. Just keep playing for those slays. And then the likes of Kid Nasty, we saw Sylvanic earlier with 8 seconds, I think, of ball time. He's picked it up to 41, but he needs to keep going.
There you go! There's the triple kill. Facti playing for slays, and right on cue, it comes out with 3 of them, and it's 7 who picks up the oddball, at least for a quick moment. Tricky being suppressed by the grenades. Where's this ball going, though? They're rotating it back to the respawn. There's no place for them to hide. They're playing a little bit scared right now. Team Lies with that oddball rotation out into no man's land. When they had the numbers advantage, they should have taken back the lead. But it's Tricky who's causing chaos. 3 go down for Lies, and even though Darkest Hour, they just need 30 seconds. Tricky is not stopping. He's not even looking twice at the objective. He is the Slayer.
Oh, and that could be costly. 4 down for Darkest Hour, but it looked like Lies played ball. I'm not sure how that oddball got out to the mid-map. Maybe they thought there was a player that spawned and got that kind of fluky split spawn at PD, but I don't think that happened. So an unforced error and mistake has Darkest Hour now on the brink of winning game 3 and taking a 2-1 lead in this series.
Oh, Grand Shiesty with his last breath tosses that oddball back towards the teammate at the top of C, but this round is not over yet. Still 8 points needing to be won by Darkest Hour, and this oddball is out in the open. Here's Facti playing for the slays yet again as you wanted. The 1v1, and M305 comes out with the kill. Traded right back out by Sylvanic. Sylvanic is using that oddball as bait. He softens up Grand Shiesty at the bottom of Subway bench. Darkest Hour have numbers. They're eyeing that objective, but Rockets are back in play. That win of Rockets might determine the outcome of the game. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Nobody's close enough, and Darkest Hour, they clutch it up. Every player on their roster with 30-plus kills.
I gotta go back to Facti. I know Darkest Hour won the game, but I gotta reverse. I gotta switch gears and just again highlight the incredible performance there from Facti. Had dropped a 40 bomb, 44 kills, and had almost 100 seconds of oddball time. Unbelievable game there from Facti on the team Lies, but all don't lie. Darkest Hour win game 3, and now Lies gonna need another stellar performance there from the likes of Facti if they want to avoid the 3-1 loss on a recharge strongholds. But I feel like the pace of this series has just been so unbelievable, and I think it's just going to continue here with the recharge match. Even that oddball match, the length of the match went long, but so often we saw consistent action. And we saw, what was it, a couple weeks ago, Magic, we were freaking out over the 300+ kills.
Yes.
I feel like that's like now becoming the norm on Streets Oddball. Like as more teams figure out the map, the sandbox, the meta, all that, the parity just gets closer and closer between, especially the likes of up-and-coming teams, the 4 and 5 seed here playing today. So no wonder that we saw such a highly contested, almost 300 seconds of time for Darkest Hour. They needed 269 seconds of oddball time to win that match. So it just goes to show how highly contested this series is and how close these two teams are.
Incredible series in every game going the distance. We had the incredible sudden death, longest sudden death in Halo Infinite history in game number 1, where Darkest Hour ended up winning out. And then when it comes to objective play, every game has been close, with Darkest Hour just having that like 51 to 49% advantage. Exciting stuff. We're waiting for a couple of players to reconnect to this lobby. I think we're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, game number 4. Will we see this series go the distance to the game 5? Stay tuned to find out. Hey chat, thanks for missing us. I had to run and get a fresh water bottle, use the restroom, but the game waits for no one. It's more Halo time, and look at this. For maybe the first time throughout the series, we see a strong breakaway. Darkest Hour already halfway to the victory with 125. I don't know what notes they took from the last game, but this is something I would have not predicted.
Yeah, and this looks very calm, cool, and collected. You look at M305 just locking down the A side, almost like at the king of the hill, and you got the strong hill, but just as I say that, he goes down. 2 go down for Darkest Hour. This is the moment in the match where Lies have to take advantage. They have 3 down. Yak, the only player alive. You've got to turn this into scoring if you're Lies.
Yeah, they need to now. I cannot believe they're already past the halfway mark, Darkest Hour, before Lies even put 1 point on the board. So somebody write that down, 147-0, because if Lies can mount the comeback now, it might be just the most impressive, incredible, and best comeback in Stronghold ever. I mean, we already saw a record-breaking game number 1. Maybe we'll see it happen here. We need to see something from Lies to get those points on the board. As the fight goes down at C, Darkest Hour are looking to take control right back. Sylvanic in a fight against the shock rifle on the other side. The assist comes through, hopefully staying alive there as the back fights.
Get nasty with a crucial potential cap on B, but no, the sticky grenade is going to find him instead. As Facty, though, finds A, and we just talked about, I believe it was M305 locking down A previously, but as soon as he went down, that opened up the floodgates for this Lies roster to take control of A and B, and yeah, despite the 150-0 start just about or so, Lies, this is a big deficit, but I don't know, based on the eye test, they look like they are up to the challenge, but no, Kid Nasty, unless he goes down, yeah, he goes down. That should flip B back into control for Darkest Hour, but it looked like Lies had a pretty good hold on A. They're going to spawn there as well, so if they can push off of A and take maybe C or B here, they're right back in it.
I mean, someone needs to signal Lies and tell them they didn't have to wait for us casters to get points. Like, they were allowed to get points even when we weren't here. I don't know if they didn't know that or if they're just trying to, like, build up a dramatic comeback story. I don't know. But right now, it's Darkest Hour again with control of the map. Grand Shiesty with control of the camo. In a 1v1 against Kid Nasty, Kid Nasty is left at 1 shot. And now Darkest Hour not even settling for 2 captures. A potential for a triple cap, depending on how A and B. A is 1 over. B is where the fight goes down. Lies are going to hold on to that. They're still losing points tick by tick. They stopped the triple cap, but what a slim victory that is.
Grand Shiesty playing his process there. Had, I believe, even a little bit of camo left, but elected to stay at A and lock it down, as it's now the only thing that Darkest Hour have locked down, as they now need to push out from that elevator spawn. Kid Nasty trying to get a remote detonation. Finally spots Tricky in the corner, but is unable to take him down as well. But for Lies, B and C in control. It's a huge opening break kill though for Darkest Hour, as we should see them continue to push through, continue to take down these members from Lies. The Sylvanic goes down as well, and Darkest Hour, despite slipping up a little bit there and giving 60 plus to Lies, earns it right back with that capture of B.
It's not a 150-point lead, but it's still a 120-point lead. So they've lost a little bit of ground, but now they're climbing the scoreboard again. Seven's mad at that wall. I don't know what it did to offend him. He's trying to hop up and hold on to C. Active camo is in play, and as Darkest Hour crossed that 200-point mark, Lies really need everything to go their way, including these power-ups, if they're going to mount the epic comeback. Seven goes after that camo, activates it, is going to rotate here through Whirlpool, but all the time is being a stall factor for Darkest Hour. Now the pink mist rains down for the kill.
TTK there on that Needler. Someone check the Needler's PC, because that was ridiculous. 2 down for Lies. M305 looking to make sure it's 3. He's got Facty in his sights, and that grenade will be enough to take him down. But M305 trades out, so a 3-3 split off spawn, whereas it should have been a massive numbers advantage for Darkest Hour. But I don't know if it even matters at this point, Magic. 230 and rolling to 66. And what's been such a highly contested series, this has been a little bit of a shock.
This one is a shock, right as Grand Shiesty hits the shock rifle. Perfect, well timed there. And this game has been a surprise. We wouldn't have expected this from what has been back and forth, but it's not over yet. Kid Nasty does get that clutch capture, but once again, it Lies in a position of needing to win every fight. Only 9 seconds left for Darkest Hour to take this game, to take this series. Lies still below that 100-point mark, 72 points points and climbing. Sylvanic, once again, the defensive player of the game, holding on to the A side, but there's one player at top of the catwalk. There's a player at Whirlpool, and the pinch coming in from every side for Darkest Hour, but 3 go down. Lies are winning out the kills. Can they get to B in time? Grand Shiesty is here at the back of B, and the reset comes through. Lies are still climbing the scoreboard.
And so here's the thing with this, in this scenario, down 240 to 90, you've got to play for the trip caps. That plays into Darkest Hour's favor, though, because it makes Lies predictable. They knew that they were going to come for C. They handled it really well, recaptured C, and now look to flip A as well. So Lies picked up their performance, looked strong, but again, so much of their next move is going to be predictable because of this lead advantage that Darkest Hour has built for themselves.
Yeah, they literally can't give up anything in the fight, and right now they're not. They passed that 3-digit mark, but it's Camo being snuck away by Yaxon, I believe, over at the bottom of C stairs. Aki has one player down, but has another one. He didn't have enough time to fully regen his shield. The fact he comes out with an assist is a huge win there.
A has a little bit of scoring for Darkest Hour, but there's no one there to continue on. I think M305 the closest player, but it looks like he's gonna wait. Smart play there. M305 waits for Yak to join him, so it's a 2v push. Love that. That's why they had the best chance they could have at top A, but Kid Nasty, though, with the defense, predicts both players pushing. 3 down for Darkest Hour. Shiesty lost alive. Now 4 down. 240 to 150. Unbelievable bounce back here from Lies as we got lulled a little bit to sleep with their starting performance, but now woke up.
There's no way, right? There's no way they make this comeback. You know, clip it, ship it, post it up on the YouTube. 7 at the back of Red Pipe's gonna have to try to fight to defend B. Does the disruptor damage do enough? He has the damage out. Lingering damage over time. Kid Nasty gets there for a reset and lands a melee. Hopefully someone else. It's Sylvanic who cleans up that kill. 4 go down for Darkest Hour again. Lies are a little bit scattered. They lost their positioning and they're quick to reset.
There's another example of a great play made by a player that went down. Kid Nasty got that melee in before dying on B. That made for an easy cleanup and hold for Lies as they continue to hold B, but A going into Darkest Hour's favor for now. But no, the trade going out should maybe lead to a trade on A, as A does in fact go to Darkest Hour. 8 seconds, 5. Lies gonna have.
Lies are going to see. They're going to see.
Lies needs to figure this out. They're gonna need a foot on here. Kid Nasty almost gonna have the desperate in, but no, not able to, as the lead was just too much. Magic, unbelievable that in the end of it all, it's less than 60 seconds between these two teams, and what was a 150, 160 point lead at one point for Darkest Hour. So a great job there from Lies, but not enough in the end as Darkest Hour win this really tight matchup between the 4 and 5 seed, and now are 1 series away from qualifying for next weekend's pool play from, most importantly, the upper bracket side, which I believe matters because it puts you into pool C or D, where you play against the 3rd, 4th number 1 seed, right? So 1, 2, which would be Optic and FaZe. Those will go to, I believe, the losing teams, the teams that qualify from the losing bracket. So very important to note, though, a lot on the line in qualifying from this winner side. Gives yourself the best chance as an open bracket team, as a team kind of punching up in this pool play tournament next weekend, the 4K. It gives them the best chance to come out on top. So this is crucial here for Darkest Hour. They're in the driver's seat and looking strong.
Yeah, 12 top teams of HCS are already pre-qualified for pool play next week, and today we're finding out which 4 teams from this open bracket will meet them. And I believe you're right, the 2 teams that make it through the upper bracket will end up in the pools with SSG and Native White, I believe, are the number 3 and number 4 seed, and maybe get to avoid the pools that contain Optic and FaZe as the number 1 and number 2. So part of the battle is qualifying, and part of the battle is also trying to qualify into the best pool to set yourself up for success. Remember, next weekend, Saturday is pool play, Sunday is the championship bracket, the 4K extending over 2 weekends, and the job's not done. As we head into the semifinals, we're going to find out the first team to qualify from today from that upper bracket. I'm very interested, and I like what I'm seeing on the screen right now, because Status Quo, one of the first teams that we know in the semifinals, setting themselves up for that potential to qualify.
Yeah, so after that locked 3-1 win over Anime Demons, they'll take on Status Quo, and oh man, and something's got to give. It's unbelievable that that previous round wasn't to qualify. Now these teams are going to have an even tougher task as the likes of Locked, which is that Tony 2-turn Envor, Arctic, and I believe Ju0 taking on that needed org squad from previous tournaments. They found an org though, Magic. They found that org in status quo. I love Cherished specifically. I think he's one of those up and coming players that really seems to be on the rise right now.
Yeah, it's Locked versus Durfgang on one side, and then looking at those semifinal matches as well. But this game is the game 4, so this is the same series that we just saw. This series not over yet. Locked has not confirmed their win. They're still in the game 4 against Durfgang. We just saw that 250, 160 point lead on the victory in the game 4, and now this is that mirrored series with Locked in that early 70-second lead.
Wow, and Locked, I believe in an oddball game 3 was up by a round and looking to close out round 2, but you have Durfgang coming back in both of those 2 rounds to find themselves in a game 4. Strongholds on recharge, and Magic, you get a little deja vu sense. Look at this, the exact same scenario. You have the red team with a 100+ point lead opening up, but much quicker than we saw Lies answer back. Looks like Durfgang has the answer with 50 seconds ahead of time, because it was 150, I believe, to 0, and it was 50 seconds, which was the difference in that previous series. So keep an eye on that if that ends up being the difference here, as Durfgang stop the bleeding for now.
They stopped the bleed, but they haven't gotten a point on the board, right? Because as soon as they captured B, they lost on the A side, and now they have to double back and capture it. So they still haven't broken through on the score. I don't know what it is about these underdog teams. They don't want to score objective points until we put them up on the broadcast. They want the spotlight for their epic comeback plays. They're in some trouble now because we're seeing a very deja vu moment where Locked now are the team with the control. The push coming to B, but Durfgang go 3 down to Spiteful as last alive and still stuck at that goose egg 0, staring at them on the scoreboard. And to make matters worse, Locked have the triple cap.
Trip cap for Locked. And the 3 seed for Locked as well, which might confuse you. You know, you might have just thought, wait, I thought SSG was the 3 seed. It wasn't Optic in phase 1 and 2. This is the qualifiers for that tournament next weekend. So we have none of the top 12 teams playing. So the top 4 teams or seeds in this tournament are essentially overall 13 through 16 in the overall grand scheme of things. So laying that out there for those maybe just tuning in, checking out some Halo action on a fine Sunday afternoon. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, it's great to be here enjoying this Halo as we see finally Durfgang with some points, and now they're trying to turn it around to a triple cap of their own. It took them 142 seconds just to get points, and now they are climbing the scoreboard rapidly, and they need it. 2 points per second when that total control is in place, which it is right now for Durfgang. That lead that was 140 seconds now down to 100. Still a mountain left for them to climb, but the kills are coming through. A nice win at the back of C. Envor trying to avenge the fallen teammate. But look at the Spiteful rotates through stacks. Recontest at the top of C. Envor finds the kill and now trying to restabilize for Lock.
A huge piv win there for Envor as it stops the bleeding, stops the triple cap, and you got to look back to Durfgang. They stopped the scoring at the 100-point mark and weren't able to score right away, Magic, but it was contesting the clock, which made ultimately the difference in why this one is much more contested than the one we saw previously, where Darkest Hour was able to eclipse 150 or so without contention. Now we have 150 for this Lock squad, but Durfgang hot on the heels, 95 seconds and looking to approach the 100 mark.
Trying to approach that 100-point mark. Stopped. Now they cross into the triple digits. That lead that was 140 is now just 42 seconds. Both A and C are up for grabs, trading captures left to right. Glitchy now rotating through the bottom of C. 6 kills, only 4 deaths, but also the 5 assists. Glitchy doing really well in all of the stat lines. Unfortunately taken down right there, and that could be the flip back to Lock as they hold down onto C. But no, Pyderf is here. Despiteful with the shock rifle kill, and that pinch between Pyderf and Despiteful was enough to keep points climbing. An incredible comeback, only at 20 seconds down.
Yeah, and this has the looks of a comeback for Despiteful and Durfgang, as I believe in the next 30 seconds they should have maybe even a 30-second lead, a trip cap potentially for A as well, as Despiteful locking down C with no pressure, and that's huge because it's going to allow him to take some free shots with this shock rifle. Instantaneous TTK. There's the pressure from Arctic, but Despiteful picks it up before he's able to move any further down that long haul. Despiteful really anchoring here for this Durfgang squad.
142 unanswered points in the opening break from Locked, and look at the response, now 160 plus points unanswered for Derf Gang. And now we're finally seeing a little bit more of that traditional back and forth. The Spiteful once again with the shock rifle. One burst left and finds the headshot for the kill, for the killing spree. Camo's on the ground. Spiteful goes after it. No shock rifle ammo left to work with, but that camo could cause some destruction.
And look at the rotation on that killing spree for Despiteful. Rotates from the C platform all the way over to B to cap it, start the scoring, and then he grabs camo as well. Unbelievable positioning, decision-making here from Despiteful, and it's a big reason why, despite the 100+0 start for Locked, they might be looking at a 100-point deficit if this continues.
Yeah, there's only been 2 points won by Locked. When Derf Gang was at 0, it was 0 to 142, and now look at it, nearly 200, and only 2 points earned by Locked. Incredible turnaround, and now the lead for Derf Gang. It has completely flipped the script. Derf Gang have their eyes on a game number 5. They can hold on in the final rounds of Slays. A great kill, Despiteful, a big part of why that lead is in the hands of Derf Gang. 13-7, laying down cover fire across the map. But I believe that was Tony staying alive at the bottom of the elevator, shaking things up and giving opportunity for Locked to mount a comeback. But Despiteful crosses the map, trying to clean up on that initial damage. Envor as the last survivor. High Derf is getting into the action, but finally some numbers advantage. And look at Derf Gang. Look at how they respond so quickly. They gave up on A. They rotate back to C instead.
Yeah, and this is shocking because as soon as Despiteful went down at A, it looked like it was going to be a convincing hold here for Locked as they eventually do get that A-B hold. But again, Derf Gang doing a great job to play off their back foot there. Should be in a much more dire situation in the sense that looked like Locked was potentially about to score heavily on their end. But it's a 60-point deficit for them now, which is, again, incredible to think of after that hot start. Envor needing the killing spree, finds it, but he goes down quickly after there to Derf Gang. 225 to 175, but most importantly, Locked has A and B. So despite being down considerably here, if they can hold on to this, this should be a very close endgame.
Look at Derf Gang, though. They had the numbers advantage on Slays and immediately turned it into objective control. B and C and just 0. Just as quick on the response. Hops onto C, defends it with a kill. Now it's A where the fight is in every corner of this map. Look at Derf rotating to try to grab the grapple, try to grab an escape, but all of Derf Gang is here on the elevator side. They flip over A. They're 15 seconds away from the win, and even though Jazero's getting the kills, it hasn't been enough to break through to an objective yet.
3 down for Derf Gang. You've got to be able to take B, and if you're Locked, you're looking to take A as well here. A trip cap needed to come back in this one, down by 50 or so seconds. C trickling towards Derf Gang, but that's all bait. Their players are spawning on the gold side. There's no hope for C. Instead, they're going to focus on A. Glitchy, the last ditch effort, I believe, along with Derf. Yes, they're both at top A. The 2v1 should lead to a trade out there, but Envor gets the sticky. Huge trade there from Envor, just as it looked like Derf Gang was going to take A. Locked, and Envor take it instead, and now might have the lead.
Envor, the leading player in the game, 18-9, doubled up kills to death, and it's the importance of that kill. Absolutely a pivotal kill to secure A tie, and now the lead over to Locked. This is going to come down to a wire. What looked to be setting up as a blowout is now just a 7-point lead for the side of Locked. They want to lock down this series, but A is being contested. Despiteful gets the kill. Despiteful's on the hill. He trades out, but they capture. It didn't come through.
Oh my God. We saw Envor making an incredible last player alive play. Thought Despiteful had one as well, but no. He goes down, and so too does Derf Gang, despite an incredible comeback effort there in game 4. That one had reverse sweet feelings all over it, but instead, Locked shut the door. And magic for me, that is, it goes back to that question we posed earlier. Is this another tournament where Locked slip up, right? We've seen them perform well. We've seen them not perform.
Look at this hill time.
Which Locked are we going to get? Right now, it looks like we're getting the one that looks locked and loaded. Unbelievable trade there from Envor with that sticky grenade. That was it. That was again, Magic. How many times today have we seen a player who goes down make the game-defining play?
But despiteful, look at this hill. It gets to the 99% capture when he trades out. If this hill gets captured and then they trade, different story at the end of this game, but it absolutely incredible. But I hear what you're saying. When it comes to luck, we feel like there's two different versions of this roster. There's the one that turns up, and then the one that looks half asleep. And you honestly don't know what to expect from them because of that back and forth.